Shifting gears then, let's also talk about the demand for smartphones, which we understand is flattening. There's also lower smartphone production. What has been the outlook on the mobile phone PLI target? Let's understand more from Hari Om Rai, the Chairman Managing Director, Lava International. Thank you so much for taking time out, Mr. Rai. With these kind of local restrictions that we're seeing, these lockdowns, these curbs coming about, what has been the demand and, that you've witnessed over the past couple of months?
No, of course, the demand, because there's, retail is also almost closed. So demand has definitely tapered down, and that's very natural. The true demand is still there, but, people can't go out and buy, and, the phones are not being, therefore you will see about 40-50% of the sale is happening right now as compared to the total sale because of the lockdowns specifically. But eventually, that's a short-term thing. Eventually, things are going to pick up. Of course, manufacturing is also hit. So therefore, I think it's very natural what I'm talking, and there's nothing, I would say, incremental I can share that, because it's very general. Whatever is happening in any other sector is happening also with us, apart from consumer, goods and also maybe pharmaceuticals, yeah.
Has there been a trend where consumers at the upper end of the smartphone market are more inclined to buy phones versus those at the mass end? What are you looking at by way of the overall outlook when it comes to the demand for smartphones? Is that flattening out?
No, it's not that, demand for smartphone is flattening out. It's just because of, definitely there has been impact on income in the last financial year. Lockdowns were there, and savings got impacted, and therefore consumer sentiments got impacted. So definitely, there has been an impact, and there's going to be an impact in this year as well. But this is, if this is not going to happen, then input has no relationship with the output. The input is that there has been lockdowns, the economy has been shrinking, all these things. So there is going to be an impact. However, the category we are in adds the most value to consumers' life. And therefore, it's just a matter of, sooner or later, things are going to be completely fine, because there's going to be a pent-up demand. We have seen in the past that the pent-up demand of the lockdowns have been recovered, and we have supplied those in the coming months. So we're going to see that is the same thing is going to happen, in the coming months.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Now, we understand that many of your peers have also suspended production. Is it the same for your company? When do you see production really normalizing?
Yeah, so production has been impacted. There is no doubt about it. And, there has been supply issues. There has been, the social distancing issue in the manufacturing, and also then the lockdowns and, the rise of COVID, etc. So that has impacted, impacted manufacturing generally overall. And so as soon as we'll see the pandemic, the impact of pandemic is going to come down, the manufacturing is going to, finally be completely all right. It'll take time, but, and as you see, I think by, June mid, we can be back again on exactly on the same levels. And I hope that there is no third wave going forward. So, things are going to be all right after that.
The current inventory lying with the company?
Yes, inventories are lying with the companies. There is no doubt about it. But it's fine because the moment things are going to open up. So, we have adjusted our inventories because there were going to be inventories coming again from our suppliers, etc. Those have been adjusted. It's a very natural process. I think it's an extremely natural process. I don't know what value I can add in this because every single sector, which is apart from the consumer, goods, essential commodities, as well as the pharmaceutical, every single sector would be in a similar situation. So it's a very natural phenomenon. I think as compared to others, we'll still be better because, consumers are finding ways to buy things despite the lockdowns. And therefore, still we are, able to cater to about 40-50% of the general demand even now. I'd also like to touch upon the most important.
What kind of revenue and growth can we expect from PLI for the IT manufacture, for the IT hardware manufacturing?
Yeah, so let me touch upon a very critical and important factor which we have been looking from the PLI and looking from this sector, which has been actually been impacted. And the way this PLI was envisaged and the way this entire scheme was architectured, it was architectured to ensure that we focus our business towards exports. We are 18% of the global population, but just 3.2% of the global GDP. The only way for us to enhance our GDP is by ensuring that our people are deployed in serving the global market, and so that we are able to take our fair share from the global market. I think because of the issues which we have faced in the last many months, after the PLI was launched, about 3 months or 2 months later than it was announced. So it was launched in October. So we had only 5 months to actually manufacture for about 8 months. And then apart from pandemic, there was a skirmish at the border, and because of that, the entire supply chain from China also got disrupted. The people who were supposed to come in, erect factories, they also had issues to come in. So because of that, industry has really suffered a lot, especially the new companies who have just come in from abroad and they were trying to set up their base in India. Issues because they were very new. They faced a lot of issues, including some labor issues as well. So definitely what we have been looking at has not happened. Having said that, I sincerely believe that this is a great opportunity. I think the most opportune time in the history of I think after independence or even before that, this is the time when China, people are looking out of China, and India has been getting ready. So the only thing is that we must tweak certain policies that industry has demanded, that the last year should be considered at 0 year. And this year, the PLI should, start. I think the government is considering this, and I believe that is going to happen. And we will definitely, we have delayed a little bit on the opportunity side, but eventually we will, be able to, I will say, create what we are destined to create in the next 5 years.
All right. And finally, give us a sense as to what your outlook is in terms of, with this PLI scheme. Will you be looking to tie up with global manufacturers as a contract manufacturer, or will you be focusing on manufacturing your brand?
No, as a company, we have, first of all, before company, let me tell you about India. India has a potential to make anything which is valuable accessible because of our per capita income. And therefore, we need to ensure, in order to make sure that that happens, we have to produce at a very, very large scale to be very competitive. And therefore, scale is critical as a matter of strategy for us. And therefore, as Lava, we are, trying to work on two pillars, the pillar of, wherein we are tying up with the large global brands to work together with them and manufacture for them, as well as, building our own brand ambitions, because the opportunity which we see, is very clear, like what we have seen, just about 10 years ago, there were no Chinese brand, right? And the Chinese brand today, let me give you the figures. About in 2007 in China, there were 3% of market, taken by these three big Chinese brands today. And in 2012, it was 10% in China. now it is about 90% plus market they have taken in China and about 50% plus market globally. Why that has happened? Because the ecosystem shifted and the local companies, they unlocked the potential what they had. And therefore, today they are a very, very large global brands. Exactly that has happened in Taiwan and Korea and Japan, if you go back to the history. So I very clearly see the opportunity also for the Indian companies to build very large brands, because the moment we are going to acquire skills, and the skills means the design skills, the components and the supply chain skills in terms of if we are able to do with scale and become globally competitive, and also the manufacturing. All these three skills at a globally competitive scale, when it is going to happen, with our per capita income, we would be the most competitive. And this is the process with which countries have built brands and companies, and this is the process with which the countries have prospered. For example, the demand of agriculture in economy and in the manufacturing,
sure,
and the demand from for
right,
manufacturing product in the agriculture. I think that's the big picture thought which we are looking at, and we are going to be doing this large brand business as well.
Thanks very much then for joining in and giving us that take as to what the outlook has been with respect to the smartphone sales, as well as what you're looking at by way of impact of the second wave on business and the PLI scheme.